Hey there, Tom with Tom's Tech Show. Today we are doing some revitalization of an old laptop. Let's check it out. Howdy, Tom with Tom's Tech Show. I've been away for a little bit because I've had this cold and then it became a sinus infection. So now you get antibiotics and all that. But I'm finally starting to feel better. The haze is lifting. I used to get many sinus infections a year when we lived in Northern California, and now in Southern California, I only get them about once a year. So that's a fair trade-off, I guess. So I do have this HP Stream laptop that I had bought quite a while ago. It's got a standard like 1366 by 768 display, so it's a fairly low resolution display. It is touchscreen. But the battery that was in it decided that it was not going to work anymore. Not going to hold a charge. So I've removed all the screws and taken the battery out. So we have a new battery, and we can put that in today. So here's my new battery right here. Of course, the key things you want to do when you get a new battery, because this one will say it's for this laptop, but we need to make sure that all the different things line up. So we've got looks like all of our screws here. That screw lines up, that one lines up, all that lines up, and then our connector, if we look at our connectors, looks like it is the same connector. Maybe I'll put my glasses on here and we'll take a better look at it just to make sure that it's all, yeah, that looks the same battery, everything else. Now this new one doesn't say HP on it. It's of course an Amazon one. So I've had good luck, bad luck with Amazon ones. Sometimes you can't trust the reviews because of course the battery manufacturers will have their friends put the reviews in. Amazon does have kind of verified purchase ones, but I've seen where it's been people from the company, the people from the company will buy their own product and then make a verified purchase review. It's like, well, I mean, Amazon does try to keep that from happening, but not always. Okay, so this is kind of opened up a little bit. I've got, a little bit of space in here to put the battery. I try not to disconnect any of the cords because these are a pain to get back in, all these little ribbon cords. It's a good idea if you're going to be doing some of this stuff, of course, to get yourself some little kit that has a bunch of nice little plastic spudgers, as they're called, right? So you can tweak underneath things and try and pry things up and out without actually destroying your laptop. You inevitably break a couple of different plastic pieces, and then a good, multi-driver screw kit here is always a good idea. To be able to get into the different screws and stuff. Okay, so we do have space here for our battery to go in, and it's going to drop in here. And it looks like, yep, all of these screws line up really well inside here. So I'm going to actually put the connector on first, because that way it has a little, see if I can move this around here and you can see here. So this connector here, if I put the battery in, it's like way past it right there. So if I connect it first, then it'll be much easier to, bend the cable around to try and get it in there. I'm going to go back to the glasses here so I can see kind of what's going on. Okay, so let's get that it's right in there. There we go. Going to push it forward. There we go, and it's snapped in really well. Now, when I move the battery forward, I can more easily, kind of bend the cables a little bit to get it kind of smushed in there. So if we bring this back over here and look at that, then the cable's a little bit pushed and bent around and stuff. So, okay, now we got the battery in here. One thing we need to do, we've got my 6 screws here. What I typically do is I take them and I find what screw tip. I pull a screw tip out of my kit, and I kind of go in there. That's a little loose. So a T15 is obviously, this one's a PZ1, which is obviously a little bit big. I might need something with a little bit sharper point on it. So that, there we go. That one's pretty, this is a PZ double aught. So that's going to be the one that we're going to use because it gets the best fit into the screw so that we don't strip the screws or do anything like that. So we need the glasses. Let's screw this thing down. Okay. There's one, and I'll do the rest and be right back. Okay, there we go. Now I've got all my screws put into the battery area here. There were some other ones in the middle. So if I look at it here, there's screw here. That's a little guiding pin. There's two screws here in the middle. Then there's a screw here on the end, another one on this point up here. So now that we've got that done, the next thing, of course, is to not screw it all completely together. Right. The next thing is to grab our power cord, plug it in, and make sure that it is going to be charging the battery once it comes up. Okay, so let's boot this thing up. It is very slow to boot up. It's going to tell me there's a BIOS checksum's invalid because the battery is gone. So we're just going to hit enter to boot the system here. There we go. We got this coming up. So this is definitely part one, which is putting the new battery in. Part two is going to be making it work better by changing it over to Linux. Okay, so we're going to log in. And the thing that I need to see over here in the system tray is that it sees the battery and that it sees it running and working and charging is what we want to be able to see. Okay, like I said, this thing is not fast. It is still thinking about coming up. There we go. Okay, so down here we have a battery. And it looks like it's charging. The little battery thing is going across. If I move this over here, we can put that right there. We can see that the little battery is moving across. Yes, I know you can't install updates because you're a tiny like SD card power that doesn't allow for enough space to install an upgrade to Windows 10, which I know is ridiculous, but hey. Okay, so for some reason we've lost the mouse, but so it's 5%, and it says 2 hours and 12 minutes until fully charged, so it's charging. We'll give it a little bit, and we'll see if I can get it to show some charging, and then we'll come back. Okay. Okay, we're back with this laptop. It is, let's see if I can, the battery here, it's now 11% charged, so it is charging. So that's one of the things that we want to be able to have it do. Now I'm going to do the what could be tragic part if this battery is actually bad and not able to hold and sustain power to the laptop, then it's just going to shut off. But since it's at 11%, it should give me like a battery low warning, and then I should be able to plug it back in and be able to have it go back to charging. So, okay, so let's unplug it. Okay, we've unplugged it. We get our battery low warning, which is good. I'm happy with that. And the laptop didn't instantly go off, so we're going to plug it back in. And it looks like it goes back to charging. So that's good. We have our battery's installed, and we're getting good action with charging and discharging, and I'm not going to run this thing all the way to full and let it charge completely and then run it for a little while with Windows. But then after that, where to go? Then I've got my little USB stick here, and I've loaded Linux on that. We'll actually go over how I loaded Linux onto it, and then we're going to stick it in this laptop, and we're going to turn this into a Linux box, because even running Linux off of this little tiny USB drive, it was like 10 times faster than the Windows that's installed on the laptop. All right, that's how I kind of maintain, and you can get in and change battery, and some of the things you need to do after you change the battery to make sure that it's functional. So you can take some of this old hardware and kind of repurpose it, which is kind of nice. That way it's not going into landfills and things like that. And this thing typically had, probably 4 to 5 hour battery life. So I'm hoping I'll still be able to get that with this new replacement battery. And then this will be a nice little carry around Linux box. I mean, you're just, you want to go and do a little web browsing or something like that at a cafe or whatever. I mean, this thing's small, it's really lightweight. Carried anywhere, and you'll have full LibreOffice to do any word processing or anything like that. Web browsers galore, and anything else you want to do with it. So it'll be pretty handy. All right. Well, thanks for watching this one. Take care.